4th and goal. Mahomes gonna walk in. Touchdown. There's a penalty. Hold on. Hold.
2nd and 10. Jets bring 4. Wilson end zone shot. Pickens got it. Touchdown Pittsburgh.
Seven guys up at the line of scrimmage. They're showing cover 0. Now it's just a question who drops and who comes.
They bring 6. They drop 1. Launching Goff over the top for St. Brown. And Detroit, after trailing by 10, has taken the lead.
Kenny C back here with you guys on the ones and twos to get in here and break down yet another week of football. It's going to keep on coming all season. For those that are just watching this channel for the first time, for those that have been watching, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Click the button. It's very easy, but it helps out more than you know. Let's get into week 7. We got some good topics on the slate for this video today. We got, are the Lions the best team in the NFC North? The NFC North is the most competitive division in football. For the Jets, is there still a chance to make the playoffs amidst all of the turmoil as of late? And the Chiefs, 6-0, looking for the three-peat. How do they keep up with their dominance? Let's get into it. First, we'll start with the Detroit Lions. Probably the best game, one of the best games of the entire season thus far was that Vikings and Lions clash. Detroit takes down the undefeated 5-0 Vikings, leaving only the Chiefs with the undefeated record in the league. That was a battle of a game. You saw all of the stars out on full display, from Justin Jefferson to Aaron Jones to Jahmyr Gibbs to Montgomery to Amon-Ra St. Brown. The stars were out in that game. Jared Goff was balling. That was one hell of an NFC North battle, and now the Lions have the same record as the Vikings and are tied for first place. Are they the best team in the NFC North? I think so. There's a good case. This is coming from a Packers fan. There is definitely a good case to make a claim that not only the Lions the best team in the NFC North, but they just might be the best team in the NFC. Jared Goff at the helm. He's playing at an MVP level right now. Dan Campbell has done a phenomenal job with this team, carrying over from last year. I love what I'm seeing from Aaron Glenn in that defense. You lost Aiden Hutchinson for the rest of the year with that fractured tibula. They've been able to rally around and pull out a win in this game. Jared Goff, 3rd week in a row of a 140-plus passer rating. The last guy to do that, Aaron Rodgers in 2011, and he went on to win the MVP. Before him, Kurt Warner did it in 1999. He went on to win the MVP. So Goff is playing out of his mind right now. Even with Laporta not being implemented heavily into the offense, he just finds a way to spread the ball around to guys like Tim Patrick and Khalif Raymond, just really incorporating all of his weapons into that offense, and it's humming like a well-oiled machine. Goff's got 1,610 yards with 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and a 73.6 completion percentage. He is playing at an all-time high level right now. If you look around the division, you can obviously make a case for the Vikings, but if it comes down to it in the clutch time, I'm probably taking Goff over Darnold when it comes to the Vikings. They have a great defense. Their offense, they have weapons just like the Lions. It's you could call it a 50-50 when it comes down to them playing head-to-head, and it pretty much was this past Sunday. But I just see Dan Campbell and the Lions coming out on top over the Vikings when it's all said and done, despite great coaching from both of these teams. The Green Bay Packers, I'll get more into it in a video coming up either tomorrow or the next day. Stay tuned for that for my cheeseheads. I always do it every week. I'll do some sort of weekly recap or just a different topic idea from the win or the loss from the previous Sunday. Looking at the Packers, Matt LaFleur, Jeff Hafley, he's probably going to find himself a head coaching job. You can make a case for Green Bay for sure with Jordan Love and the weapons that he has on offense and the way that takeaway defense is playing for Green Bay. With Chicago, they got a lot going on there with Caleb Williams and a high-powered offense. Their defense is ranked 7th in the league in terms of touchdowns given up and total yards allowed, total yards on average that they allow. But their DC, Eric Washington, you got to give him credit there. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the season, again, we're talking about who's going to finish on top of the NFC North, I don't trust Matt Eberflus and OC Shane Waldron when you compare them to the other staffs along or around the NFC North, such as the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. They're no match for them in my eyes. So that's where I stand on that. But where do you guys stand? For my NFC North fans, you're a fan of one of the teams in the NFC North, and even if you're just a big football fan or you're not a fan of one of those teams, still want to hear your thoughts, still would love to hear what you got to say about that. Concerns for the New York Jets. You definitely should be concerned at a base level. The Jets now have lost 4 straight Sunday Night Football. They allow the Steelers to put up 31 unanswered points on them en route to a 31-15 loss. 0 points in the second half in Davante Adams' debut game as a New York Jet. People, to keep it plain and simple for my Jet fans out there, for Gang Green, I think Rich Cimini said it best on Twitter. The Jets are a team that is an assembled roster, but they're not a team. They're not playing like a fluid-moving team that has chemistry. You have a multitude of stars on a team that are not gelling well, similar to the NBA, where if you don't have guys gelling on the floor, out of those 5 guys, if they're not gelling, you're not going to win many games, i.e. the Brooklyn Nets, to give you probably the most recent and clear example. With the Jets, you got Mike Williams. Aaron Rodgers and him don't seem to be on the same page. Davante Adams, they obviously have that chemistry since 2013, so that's going to eventually emerge. But Allen Lazard, Rodgers, we've seen them have the chemistry, but then you're going to bring in Hassan Reddick, who's going to play against the Patriots this coming week. You just have a bunch of big names on the team, but they're not all gelling as one. Tyron Smith, his pass block grade is around a 70, so that's actually pretty good. It's above expectation for what I thought it was. But the offensive line, with Morgan Moses and John Simpson, and now Elijah Vera Tucker's hurt, and Joe Tippmann, your center, it just seems like the line itself is not doing its job in a cohesive manner and blocking well enough for Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, another star that you brought in, that it just does not seem like he gels with the roster that the Jets have. They're just not on the same page right now. And Rodgers is 40 years old. He doesn't look like Brett Favre did in 2009 when he led the Vikings to an NFC Championship game. Oh, by the way, Favre was 40 years old at that time. It's still fairly early enough into the season where the Jets can right the ship. But folks, this is what it comes down to. We have 10 games left. The Jets pretty much have to go 7-3 in the next 10 games in order to finish 9-8 on the year and be a fringe wildcard team. You now have the ability to get there at 9-8, given the fact that now 3 wildcard teams can make it. The Jets' schedule coming up. The Patriots, followed by the Texans, followed by the Cardinals, the Colts, Seattle, the Finns, the Jaguars, the Rams, the Bills, the Finns again. You got to finish 7-3. I don't know how you do it, but you have to get it done if you're the New York Jets. This is a team that was 3 for 10 on third down. Big third down coming out of the half, and Raj can't connect with Davante on, I believe it was either a slant or an in right across the middle of the field, over the sticks. Raj can't make the throw. Then you have Garrett Wilson unable to catch a pass clear as day right into his chest. That gets intercepted by Beanie Bishop. The Steelers go on to turn that into points. The Jets with the special teams, it's been discombobulated. They get blocked twice. The first time Minka Fitzpatrick they call leverage. He used players to catapult himself over the line. And then the second time, just a clear block. The Jets have no semblance of unity right now. And maybe this also is going to eventually come down on Jeff Ulbrich. They thought it was Saleh. The Jets need a guy that's going to come in here and make them a disciplined football team that's going to play as a cohesive unit and play discipline. That's not what we're seeing from the New York Jets right now. Is this on the front office? Is this on Woody? Do they have to blow it all up at the end of the season if it doesn't work with Rodgers? Is it on Rodgers because he knew that the Jets were the New York Jets and he knew that he could come in here and move things around and pull strings because of the quarterback poverty that they have been in? They've been an impoverished franchise when it comes to the quarterback position. So Rodgers knew that. There's a lot of different factors here. I want to know what you guys think. about the Jets and if they can right the ship. Are they going to make the playoffs? I'm going to say yes. I think they do find a way to start grooving. They also were without 3 key defensive players. I mean, they've been without Jermaine Johnson the entire year, and they'll continue to be without him. But adding Hassan Reddick will, I think, be huge if he plays like Hassan Reddick. But you also were without DJ Reed and Chuck Clark, 2 key members of that secondary. It seems like also Ahmad Sauce Gardner has been playing a little banged up. He got a little banged up in the game against the Steelers. The Jets, I think, will kind of figure things out and start to gel. But you got to do it quick because, like I said, you really only have 3 games to lose within the next 10. What do you guys think? And lastly, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 6-0. How is that possible with the way that they've played? When you look at the way that they've played statistically and with the injuries that they've had. Before I tell you how, please drop a comment in the comment section below. Drop an emoji of a football if you're still watching this video up until this point. To get into it here, you've been without Rashee Rice. If you're the Chiefs, you've been without Rashee Rice since week 4. You haven't had Isaiah Pacheco, your lead running back. Mahomes is averaging 1 touchdown and 1 interception a game. Travis Kelce is averaging 40 receiving yards, your main receiving threat. Xavier Worthy's banged up. How have the Chiefs been able to sustain success? You just lost Jalen Watson with a broken foot. He's probably going to be out for an extended period of time, if not most of the rest of the season. How are the Chiefs finding a way? Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. These 2 gentlemen are 2 of the most prestigious coaches in the National Football League. They know how to win and they know how to scheme. Andy Reid on Sunday in a game against the 49ers where they were able to come away with a victory, ran the ball 23 times in between the tackles. That is the most pure runs since 2016 in a game. Ground and pound the rock in your face. And Patty Mahomes will also know how to pound the rock as he shoulder shimmied the defender out of the way to get into the end zone on that one drive where he took off down the sideline and damn near scored, was down around the 10 or so. Patty Mahomes finds ways to make plays with his feet, with spectacular throws. And here's another crazy, mind-boggling stat about Patty Mahomes. Since 1970, he's just the 2nd quarterback to have his team be 6-0, but have more interceptions than touchdowns. Patty Mahomes has 6 touchdowns right now to 8 interceptions. The only other quarterback since 1970 to do that was 2015 Peyton Manning. It's insane. They are finding ways to win through adversity. More often than not, if you're consistently turning the football over, you're not going to win games. But when you have Steve Spagnuolo pressuring Brock Purdy 7 times in the game and his secondary coming up with 3 clutch interceptions, that's how you're going to win the game. Through schematics and through the fundamentals of football and good coaching. Coaching that knows how to respond in the wake of adversity. That's how teams find ways to win. And that's why the Chiefs are 6-0, off to a phenomenal start, the best start in Patrick Mahomes' tenure with the Chiefs, and why they have a very good shot at three-peating and becoming the first team in NFL history to do so. Now, I mentioned that they're without now their cornerback Jalen Watson moving forward opposite Trent McDuffie. They're going to have to roll with Najee Johnson, who they drafted 7th overall in 2022, and they're going to roll with Josh Williams, who they drafted, in the 7th round in 2022, and Josh Williams, who they drafted in the 4th round of 2022. The upper management of the Chiefs, they know how to draft. These guys should slot in and do well, but down the stretch, maybe that will get the best of them, not having starting caliber cornerbacks in their secondary. But the defense as a unit under Steve Spagnuolo, the sky's the limit. They look phenomenal week in and week out. They're able to find ways. And that's why the Chiefs are 6-0 right now. Leave a comment in the comment section below about any of these topics and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys next week.